I stand in awe before every child because they are God's children with immense possibilities. This morning I met Ravi sitting alone in the veranda of our house. I have a few new boys this year. Ravi is one of them. He was feeling homesick. I tried to smile at him. He gave me a sad look. I felt sad for the child. Ravi lives in a slum with his mother, younger sister and grandma. His father died in a road accident. Poor boy. He had to discontinue his studies and take up odd jobs to help his mother run the family. The urban poor is a rising phenomenon in the metro city of Chennai. Many of them migrated from rural areas years ago, and the poor from the villages are still flocking to the city, hoping for a better future. While some benefit from the opportunities of the city, a vast majority of those with low skill levels are still left behind and find themselves struggling with the day-to-day challenges of city life. They are caught up in the vortex of overcrowded living, lack of clean water, filthy sewage, undernourishment, unemployment, and crippling social problems such as crime and violence. Their problems will keep worsening if not addressed aggressively. It was with the idea of salvaging the urban poor and the hundreds of leprosy-affected people that Don Bosco Beatitudes was started in 1965 by the saintly Italian missionary, Reverend Father Offio Mantovani, SDB. The city was already devouring the suburbs and was growing gigantic. The Salesian priests and brothers, with untiring zeal and passion for Christ, began their mission among the poor in the slums. It was now a multifaceted missionary intervention in the slums of the city of Chennai. Currently, the city has a population of more than 5 million people, of whom nearly 2 million people are living in the slums with very poor living conditions, according to the latest statistics. Beatitudes is managed by the Salesians of Don Bosco in collaboration with Salesian Sisters and the Sisters of Maria Auxiliatrix. Through its welfare programs, this center renders marvelous service of educating, empowering, training and rehabilitating the poorest of the poor. When society is in chaos, we need to keep an extra eye on our children, not just because they are the most vulnerable, but also because they are our future. India has the highest population of children below the age of 18. 41% of the total population, and over 4% of them are orphans. Poverty has been a significant contributor to the big number of orphan children. A large number of children in India struggle to survive, leave alone having access to education and other welfare measures. Some of these children end up being trafficked or pushed into illegal works. One distressing factor and the issue of concern was a high prevalence of child abuse, with 23.7% of the children reporting abuse in the form of violence at home and on the streets. Among them, the girl child is the most vulnerable. There is a high prevalence of infections, underweight, and undernutrition. Many of them are bound by the shackles of their homes with no education or no opportunity to pursue their dreams. Child marriage is still prevalent, along with sexual abuse and trafficking. It hurts to be a girl child. One way out is to quarantine children from the detrimental environment they are caught up in. Don Bosco Beatitudes run 2 children's homes: the Dominic Savio Children's Home for boys and the Nirmala Children's Home for girls. Most of the children in these homes are orphans, semi-orphans, and children from broken families. In collaboration with the government organization known as CWC, Children's Welfare Committee, these centers board 160 children. The children's homes serve as an abode for these children, where they are safe and cared for. Their food, clothing, and education are taken care of. Their past wounds are healed, and their future is shaped. There is a family atmosphere in the children's home that is typical of every Salesian setup. The fathers, brothers, and sisters are always present with the children. The children also learn to live together, supporting each other with a sense of community. The children are sent to school, and once back, they are assisted in their studies. They are given opportunities to develop their talents. The loving presence of the Salesians encourage and motivate them in their lives. Their emotional and material needs are taken care of. Here, children grow up with a sense of dignity, self-reliance, and with a strong moral sense. Education is the best means by which social transformation can be effected. It affects the socio-political and economic lifestyle of the people. It is the only means by which the vicious circle of poverty and social evils that enslave people can be broken. The children from the children's home attend the schools run by Don Bosco Beatitudes. Finding a good school and meeting school expenses is a major concern for the poor slum dwellers too. Don Bosco Beatitudes has a creche, a primary school, a higher secondary school, vocational training center, and night study centers for the children from the neighborhood. There are 2,200 children studying in the primary and higher secondary schools. It is not just Ravi, Sita, Mohan, Rani. They are all dreaming of a better future with the support of Don Bosco Beatitudes. The story of Beatitudes continues through them. I was destitute and you took me in. Beatitudes has a vocational training center for the working youth, housewives, and the dropouts. They acquire various skills and trades like tailoring, embroidery, power tailoring, typewriting, and handicrafts. The youth attend the training center before or after their college studies. Some come and pick up trades as a means of scale up for the work they're already doing. The women of the locality come to the training center to pick up a trade so that they can earn a living on their own in their house itself. For example, having a tailoring machine of their own and doing stitching and embroidery works for others. There are 4 night study centers organized by Beatitudes for the children from the slums who have no good ambience to study at home. They are also given tuition in difficult subjects. There are about 250 students benefiting from these centers. The children are given materials they need for their studies through sponsorship programs. The Healthcare Center came into existence in 1965, mainly for the people of the slums. This center is situated in the Beatitudes campus itself. It sees to the health care of the old people and children of the campus and also of the local slum dwellers. We should always be mindful of our elders. When we are busy growing up, we forget that they are also growing old. A number of them lack emotional support, company, and security. Many are neglected and even abused. But they refrain from complaints, fearing of strain in relationships, and at times being totally abandoned. Why is the elderly being left in the cold by their families in a land that reveres the old? Unproductive? Liability? Health issues? Lack of time? A number of old people have a sordid tale to narrate of neglect, the drought of care and affection, as they have outlived their utility and value to their children. They become strangers to their children and destitutes in their own home. There are 81 million old people in India. The phenomenon of grand dumping is becoming common. It is a reflection of the breakdown of systems to take care of the elderly in society. Increasing number of people are being abandoned by their families and are forced to fend for themselves in their old age. St. Thomas' Home of Beatitudes is a home away from home for the care of the old and the destitute. With a built-in capacity to house 100 elders, this home serves as their free foster home, which cares, nourishes, and helps them restore their lost dignity. The center provides medical care, physiotherapy, palliative care, spiritual renewal, and a homely atmosphere where they feel welcomed, loved, and wanted. Doctors visit the center regularly. Their time of leisure and recreation is taken care of. If old age is called the second childhood, who would play the role of the parent? Elders being left at home alone is one of the major issues for a number of homes in the city, especially when they are poor and can't afford hiring a personal helper. The loss of sight and hearing, added to other physical ailments, aggravate the normal aspects of aging. Don Bosco Beatitudes also has a daycare center for the elderly. The Rua Daycare Center is a free shelter home for pavement and street dwellers and elders who lack food, medical care, and other basic facilities. Even though some of them live in their own homes, there will be no one to give them food and attend to their needs when their children go out to work. The daycare center is a solution for isolation and loneliness. Thus the vulnerable turn venerable by the touch of the Beatitudes. And the words of Christ resonate in our ears. I was homeless, and you received me. Slums are an unhappy reality in every city. Within slums, problems are manifold. Living conditions are deplorable, sanitation is poor, child mortality is high, education levels are low, and diseases are rampant, crime rate is high. The problems which the women and children face in these conditions are much worse. The best way to tackle these issues is to empower the women. Slums can be incredibly productive. It is a place where a lot of economic activities take place. Beatitudes, conscious of the slum dwellers and their untapped potential of collective capacity, started WHEAT, Women's Health Employment Animation Training Program. Under this project, the women of the slums are organized into self-help groups, SHGs, and they are supported to initiate microcredit programs. They are also trained in various skills to start their own income generation projects. These projects include manufacturing soap, washing powder and phenol, paper and jute bags, running small shops, etc. The literacy drive has resulted in boosting self-confidence and leadership qualities, preparing them to approach the government for schemes that are available for their betterment and make them participators in their own rehabilitation. The government has come forward to help this movement in a big way through NABARD, National Banking for Rural Development, and give loans to women to start income-generating projects. At the moment, there are 315 self-help groups with a total membership of 3,800. One can never think of a Don Bosco institution without a playground. Salesians believe in the transformational power of sport as a tool for social good. At present, Don Bosco Youth Center has a built-up capacity to cater to 300 youth. Apart from sports, regular animation programs are organized to prepare them for life. It is the unique ability to engage people and bring them together that makes Don Bosco Youth Center the perfect catalyst for development. It is a legacy handed over that every Salesian center is a school that educates, a home that loves and cares, a church where faith is nourished, and a playground that relaxes. The poorest are always a part of the Don Bosco Beatitude community. Don Bosco Beatitudes has at its center the parish of Our Lady of Consolation, The parish has 3 substations and 711 registered families, with about 4,500 plus members. The parishioners are mostly from the neighbouring slums. The parish is very vibrant, with all the activities like regular catechism classes, prayer groups, Vincent de Paul Society, etc. Walking through the Beatitudes, one cannot but marvel at what a little bit of shared love can achieve. Much has been accomplished, and much more can be done. It has been possible through the support of many generous people. Don Bosco Beatitudes remains ever grateful to them. The attitude of giving makes Beatitudes possible, and the words of Christ, again, resound in our ears. Inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me. Don Bosco Beatitudes is a family